Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Amazing Reviews reviewing the first episode of Amazing Race 36. Joining me tonight from Arizona, Calbert. What's up, Calbert?
What's going on, everybody?
We're just hanging here, going to talk some Amazing Race episode 1 of season 36, aka season 35. Calbert, what an interesting first episode this was. I think there's some questions that we have, and hopefully we'll be able to just talk it over tonight. But what did you think of the debut of season 36?
It was interesting. Yeah, it was really, really interesting. I thought interesting place to start too. I thought.
Yeah. Like starting in the country and then having the whole episode in that country for a debut. Usually you start in the US and then work your way to a different country, but that was not the case here.
Right.
And I'm thinking like maybe that's probably because they're still using the charter plane.
Sure. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I did think it was interesting that I'm not giving anything away by what I'm about to say. I thought it was interesting that they really didn't have any maps to go with. Usually you get a map to start. And it sounded like some teams like either A, didn't get them, or B, they weren't handed them, which I thought was interesting. So I'm in a country that I don't know.
Yeah.
Great. Without a map. Fantastic. Good start.
Well, we obviously know that, Maya and Rohan didn't have it.
Right. Well, the fact that they even got out of their pickle, out of their situation was even more interesting. I honestly didn't think they were going to.
I didn't either.
They're stuck. They're done.
Oh. Why did okay, let's save it for when we talk a little bit more. But so like getting the introduction of all these teams, was there any team that like, okay, last week we kind of talked about them, but we didn't know a ton about them. Was there any teams that kind of surprised you with their introductions?
Yeah, your team kind of surprised me with Sunny and Busy.
Yeah.
They surprised me. My team kind of surprised me. I had flashbacks to last season very, very quickly. In like the first half hour to 45 minutes of the episode, I was like, okay, I haven't even seen my team. This isn't good.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's no way Calvert could pick a team that's going to go out first week, right back to back. There's just no way. And then all of a sudden they just charged ahead. And I have thoughts on them, but I'll save it a little bit. And then my team too, like they didn't get a lot of airtime in the beginning. I'm like, where are they? Because they didn't show them, traveling or anything. So I thought that was, I was like kind of getting worried. I'm like, I don't think they're doing worse than Maya and Rohan, but they're definitely not doing, what I thought they'd be doing. So, So yeah, I thought that was kind of weird, but I don't know. So let's start it off. Team set off from Playa El Salado in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and had to search the hotel parking lot for a car with their first clue. Teams then had to drive to Malecon and find their next clue by the Valar Dores pole. The season's first detour was a choice between pick 'em up or pin 'em down. In pick 'em up, teams had to transport a pair of rocking horses down a steep hill to the sculpture in search of reason in order to receive their next clue. In pin 'em down, teams had to watch a Mexican-style professional wrestling match and then pair up the masks of 5 tag teams in order to receive their next clue. So Calbert, what are you picking here?
I'm picking pin 'em down. I saw the two options and I was like, sure, I'll stare and try to match the luchador's mask to the other luchador's mask. That's got to be then because I knew for sure. I know a lot about Mexico, but I know they got a ton of cobblestone roads, and I went, they're going to be like, wood, or I thought maybe possibly either wood or plastic horses, and they got to drag them. There's no way on the planet I'm dragging a horse that far. I'll
Yeah.
gladly sit in, because if I get the, which is what happened for some of the teams, if you didn't match a luchador mask to the other luchador mask, they wrestled again in 5 minutes. So you just pick, you pick a set of 4, or that's what I'd have done. You pick a set of 4 people and go, okay, this one's got the black mask with the red star. This one's got the blue mask with the tint of green in it. And you kind of do it that way. Where I knew going in that the horses were going to be a pain.
Yeah, that was a long distance that they had to go. Plus the cobblestone, like you just said, that did not help by any means, And kind of one of the things that I noticed off from the start is, I think Chris and Mary are going to have a tough time.
Yeah.
He tripped within the first minute.
Yep.
Of the and
good start, and not ruining the preview by saying this, but like going into Thursday's show, looks like they're going to have some trouble with the heat also.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. I think Chris and Mary and Team Walla Walla are having issues in the heat, and they're like, they have medical attention on them.
Yep.
So we haven't seen like anybody have medical attention in probably since season 29 or 28.
Sure. Yep.
So yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, they had some issues. Chris and Mary had some issues. They tried to go for the rocking horses, but they're all out of them by the time they got there.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of these teams had some navigational issues trying to locate this first detour. Especially obviously Maya and Rohan. I mean, they did clearly, but Chris and Mary did. Juan and Shane seem to have some issues too, trying to find.
My team, thankfully, they got told that all the horses were taken.
Mm-hmm.
They would have gone up there and had no horses. So.
Correct. Yeah, that kind of saved them a little bit.
Which I kind of like that, by the way. I kind of like that they had like, okay, only 8 teams can take the horses. Like,
correct.
I mean, you I know that you generally don't know where you're at, throughout the episode, especially for the day, usually, especially in the beginning part. But like it's simple math. You go, okay, like how long did it take us to get here? Okay, it took us longer than it probably should have, possibly.
Yeah.
There probably aren't any horses left. Let's just go let's do Penham, So.
Yep. In these first 2, in this detour, were there any teams like so far at this point in the episode that you were impressed with?
I liked at the particular moment that I saw this, I actually liked Michelle and Sean, the aerobics the aerobics instructors from Georgia.
Yes, Double Dutch. Yep.
Double Dutch. Yep. They did. Yep. They did. Double Dutch. Yep. I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. That was my fault.
You're good. No, that's fine. Yeah. No,
so, I thought they did. I thought they did really, really good. They were like, okay, like this is what we're gonna do. Here's our plan. And then they just went about it and attacked, which is that's what you got to do. So.
Yep. No. Yeah, I agree. They impressed me. I think Derek and Shalisa definitely impressed me. I think they look like a pretty strong team. I think we kind of thought Rod and Letitia were going to be pretty good. But I think Ricky and Cesar, Goldberg's team, and he's not even talk about them. Yeah. But they look like they're very good at navigation.
Yes, they are.
And I think that's going to be a strong suit of them. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a long season, obviously, and it's always hard to tell after one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of teams though that I still don't really have a read on. I think I have a read on your team. I think, and then we'll talk about it. They're a team that maybe the little things are going to mess them up, but then when they get like a physical task, they're just going to nail it out of the park. They're very competitive.
Right.
They kind of got Dusty and was it Ryan? Ryan and Dusty. They kind of got Dusty and Ryan, or the military brothers from a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
They kind of got that energy going for me. So we'll see though. We'll see. It's gonna be a long season. Anything? Well, we do know who the comedy team is, right? It's got to be Anthony and Bailey, right?
Absolutely. Bailey or the comedy team. Yep.
Those guys cracked me up, actually. Like, I'm almost kind of sad I didn't pick them just because of how hilarious they are. But
right.
You know, though, that editing was looking for anything from them because they are the classic beach stoner guys. Like,
absolutely.
You know,
I even said that to myself as I was watching the episode. I'm like, are they stoned already?
Yeah. Oh, geez. Wow. I think Amber and Vinny kind of did a little worse than I thought they would do. I thought they'd be a little bit better. But yeah, they didn't. I don't know. They didn't really.
I think that they just got thrown off because of not having a map. I think that I mean you're right. It's hard to tell with the first week, but I think they really struggled with the fact that they didn't have a map.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to continue for them, but yeah, I think it's hard to say. Like, and we were kind of right, or at least I was right, at least in this particular case, about saying that the younger the teams that were 26 and 22 in Kashara and Karishma.
Yes.
And I know for a fact that I said for Maya and Rohan, I said, can they read a map?
Yes.
And I said that right away. And without even knowing anything, and clearly, even now, I'm not going to fault them, but just trying to get the car out of the spot of the predicament that they were in was really, really hard.
They were, I mean, we are all probably thinking it, Austin Powers, right? It's got to be.
That's what I was thinking.
The movie is Austin Powers.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Why didn't they just go backwards?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, there's nobody there.
Yeah, you could just, or you could at least had someone go out of the car and just direct them. Like, if you
right, and he tried. He tried that, and every time he tried, like she put the tires on the back of the curb.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
I mean,
she put the front of the car in the front of almost hit him. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't even try to turn around. Just go reverse.
I thought the same thing because I was like, you're not gonna fit through there. I think that's what they thought. They thought, okay, maybe it's not kind of like last season, where we thought there was a car that was stuck from last season, and I was like, well, I think they can fit through there, but they can't, because of the divider. So
yeah,
you can't split the car into two. It's not a movie.
Correct. Yeah, that did happen in a recent season with the spikes coming out of the road. Yeah. That was I can't remember. That wasn't. I don't know if it was last season, but it might have been 2 seasons ago. That's thought. Yeah, it was somewhere around there. But wow, yeah, Maya and Rohan. We all had them in I think 12th place at best.
Yep.
We all kind of figured they would not be a good team, and they showed it. Like, they were way too inexperienced. I don't care how big of a super fan team they were. They just you can't replace the little things,
right?
And they didn't have it,
right?
But yeah, so after the detour, then teams had to drive to the Lienzo, Charo, Miguel, Prieto, Baria, which had their next clue, and then in the season's first roadblock, one team member had to complete a Charo challenge by jumping through 7 spinning lassos in order to receive their next clue, which directed them to the pit stop, the Plaza de los Arcos del Malecón. Also, there's an additional note that although the last team to arrive at the pit stop was eliminated, there was no rest period at the end of the leg, and all remaining teams were instead instructed to continue racing. So going to the detour, or to the roadblock,
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Kishori and Karishma, I mean, they automatically get a red flag for not putting that handkerchief on.
How do you not do that? It says it right in the clue.
Yep.
How are we in? Because that was my original thought. My original thought, as I yelled at the television at this particular point to them, was like, you don't have to know anything about nothing when it comes to Mexico. But if you know for a fact that if you have to jump the rope, every cowboy wears a cowboy hat and every cowboy wears a handkerchief, whether they're male or female.
Correct.
How are we into 36 seasons, technically 35, 35 seasons, technically 36, and teams don't read their clue? How is this possible? That's literally what I said to myself out loud, going, they can't be this stupid. They can't.
Correct.
And that's the thing too. Like, it's not even like, because she struggled with it on the first time. Like, it took her, I think thankful for the editing, but I honestly think, I know it said like 12, but it felt like 20. She fell 20 times going through that rope the first time.
Yeah.
And then you got through it, and then you were like, well, why didn't I get my clue? Well, I didn't wear my handkerchief. Oh, well, shit, now I got to do it all over again. Because you didn't read the clue. So now your partner has to sit there in the sun and watch you do it again for something that you could have fixed in basically 2 minutes. Because it didn't have to be, like, it didn't have to look nice or pretty or perfect. It just had to be on.
Correct.
So.
Correct. Yeah. They struggled with this, and they lost a lot of space. A lot of. I mean, they were like 4th or 5th to the roadblock, and they fell way far down. So.
And this is where my team took advantage, because of that. He got through. Shane got through it right away because he wore the handkerchief, and boom, he was done. They went from what I thought was going to be maybe 11th if they were lucky.
Yep.
And jumped all the way up to 4th. Yep. Because of that. That's the difference right there.
Yep. That was huge. That was huge by them. So yeah, I mean, Juan and Shane, like, once they powered through the lasso challenge. I think that's what's going to be their strength is challenges like that, where they can just physical ability, they're going to be able to do it. But also you got another team like Ron and Letitia, who I think are going to be kind of similar, but maybe a little more experience. We'll see though. It's been kind of hard to read some of these teams yet. It's hard to read after one episode. So my team did pretty good on this challenge. I think it took them like twice. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. So I just
once I knew that they were still there, because I was thinking the same thing. Because you and I were in the same kind of boat, going, okay, I don't see your team and I don't see my team.
Correct.
This isn't good.
They left the detour in like 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
They fell to 9th because they didn't get there quick enough. So I wonder if they have navigational issues or what. But because we didn't see them, so it didn't really explain why they lost that lead.
I think a lot of the teams that, like, everybody seemed to be like confused. They were like, oh, we're like, even I'm just using the horse. When everybody was trying to find the horses, for example, they're like, oh, it's 507 and it's down this road.
Yeah.
Well, it's not well labeled, right? So yeah. I mean, I'm gonna give generally everybody a pass, with the exception of Rohan. That, like, if it's not, I mean, that's the point of the Amazing Race, but like, for it to be the first weekend, like, we don't know where we're supposed to go. It's not good for every team. So
yeah.
But I'm gonna give them a pass because it wasn't like it was easy. There wasn't like the big yellow arrow that said go this way.
Yes, exactly. I mean, at first leg, you just kind of gotta feel it out maybe, and then adapt as you go. So coming in first this week is Ron and Letitia, starting off strong with the first place finish of season 36. And then we had Ricky and Cesar in second, Derek and Shalisa taking third, Juan and Shane taking fourth, Michelle and Sean taking fifth, Yvonne and Melissa taking sixth, Angie and Danny, Team Walla Walla, taking seventh, Anthony and Bailey taking eighth, Sunny and Busy taking ninth, Kishori and Karishma taking 10th, Chris and Mary taking 11th, Amber and Vinny taking 12th. So the kind of the twist at the end was, it was a keep on racing leg. or a mega leg.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also the twist, though, that I'm kind of confused on is there wasn't an elimination. It's usually when we have these, we do not have an elimination. So, what did you think of having this keep on racing, but then also having an elimination? Didn't you think like, oh, they're going to be saved, because it's a mega leg?
Which is why everybody went nuts when they finally hit the mat, with the exception of Maya and Rohan. Like they all went nuts and they went, oh, okay. Like, I mean, and there seemed to be like some of the teams looked like they were generally upset that, oh, we got to keep on racing.
Right.
Well, we're here. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. I to your point, I think it's interesting that it's the first weekend. We already got the mega leg. That's weird.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I know we've had some weird twists and turns before, but I think what I'm most confused on is that we had an elimination. So,
right.
I was surprised that they're going to do this, but then they're also going to eliminate someone. So I guess I just didn't get that part, but I guess, each season is different. They always throw in like a twist or a turn. Nothing is the same, obviously. So,
which then also leads me to believe, because the mega leg has already happened now.
Yeah.
Unless they do another one, which I highly doubt that. I mean, I don't believe that's ever been done since we've done this for the mega leg portion anyway. Since the three of us have done the podcast, that means there's going to be a team that's going to eliminate every week.
Correct. That's what it would seem like. Yeah. I don't see. I mean, I don't know. If I'm going by Wikipedia, there's 11 episodes, so
right.
We're already down to 12. I don't know. Maybe they have one in here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. So yeah, Maya and Rohan, only the second team to ever finish 13th place. Technically, the first team to finish 13th because it aired it took place before season 35. Who would you take, Alexander and Sheridan or Maya and Rohan?
I would I would honestly take Maya and Rohan, because like outside of the fact that like when they finally got unstuck and they finally went the correct direction, which to your point, I'm still surprised why they just didn't go backwards.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like there were cars there. They kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
They crushed the Pinim and the rope challenge. Like they did really well. It's just they got stuck, and they must have been stuck for, I mean, through the magic of television, probably 45 minutes, maybe longer. But yeah, it's clearly they weren't like my team last season. My team last season is still trying to figure out how to point A to point B.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think Maya and Rohan was a little bit better than Alexander and Sheridan, even though their navigational issues were pretty abysmal.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising though that they took 13th, obviously. So
no.
Yeah. So I guess how would you rate this first episode?
I only gave it like a 5.
Yeah.
I was equally just as surprised as you were that there was going to be that they're just that it's a mega leg already. I thought that was I was getting ready to jump up and down and celebrate, going, hey, my team's in 4th. And then they realized it too, and that's so. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's technically no, there's really no official placings,
right.
No prize. So we got to keep on going. Yeah, I didn't think it was like the strongest debut like we've had in some other previous episodes. So hopefully episode 2 kind of picks it up a little bit. We're staying in Mexico next week, correct?
Correct, we are. Should we talk about? Should I mention what?
Not yet. I was just we could do that after the end, but let's do power rankings. I know it's a little tough to do still, but yeah, let's go through it. Why don't you start with your 12th place team?
So I'm pretty much just going to go with how we think that they finished, or how it was kind of announced.
Sure.
I got Amber and Vinny at 12.
Okay. I'm actually going to go a little different than what the placings were. I think Chris and Mary are the worst team. Just by seeing the eye test, I don't think Chris is going to last. I mean, clearly he's probably not going to last even till next week, but he barely lasted this episode.
Yeah.
So I don't, the guy just doesn't have the stamina to do this in the heat. So I got them at 12.
Yeah, I've got Chris and Mary at 11. I mean, you're right. I think that they're going to be eliminated probably Thursday would be my guess, because it's them in the. I talked about that during the inaugural episode for the season last week, about how I thought the age of somebody that was 60 is going to affect them.
Yeah,
it is kind of. I mean, it's kind of young. You know, a 30, 35, 40, 45. If you get up to 50, okay. Type game. If you're 60 plus, now I'm not saying that they can't do it, but it doesn't look good. We saw what happened last year. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree 100% with this. I think the older teams, especially in the warmer weather climates, they don't do so hot.
Right.
Number 11, I actually think it's Kishori and Karishma. The fact that they didn't read their clue, I'm docking you a lot of points for that. I mean, they might be able to figure it out, but this might be a constant thing. They are young, so I mean, they do have that on their side, but I'm gonna go with them at number 11.
10, I have Kashar and Charisma. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the only reason why they're here is because Chris and Mary are well, Chris in particular is so old. If it's not for Kashar and Charisma, I would have been glad to see them go home already. I'm not saying I don't like them, but that's a massive mistake, and you can't have that in the first episode.
Yes, correct. I was not impressed by them. Inspirational story, but yeah,
sure.
Not too much else.
Sure.
Number 10 for me is actually Amber and Vinny. Not that I think they're a good team. I just think they're going to do better next week. I think they were just kind of one of the teams that had a down week, but I think they could probably. I think they're gonna rise up a little bit. So I'll put them at number 10.
9, I have Sunny and Busy. That's your team. Another good story. Like, I mean, glad that Wisconsin's getting some national love, but
right.
I think that it's the first week. They made some mistakes. I think they made some mistakes driving. They had to have, because that's the only reason why they weren't seen. So I think that's just a minor mistake. Hopefully they get that fixed. I expect them to. So I got them 9th.
9th for me is Anthony and Bailey. I just can't take these guys. Like, they're funny, but I don't think I can take them seriously. I think they're going to be able to get by on their youth, but when it's really going to come down to it, I think, I don't know. I got them at 9th. They're kind of a wild card to me still. They could get better, or they could just kind of stay like what Liam and Jeremy was last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Anthony Bailey at 9.
I know what I wrote down, but 8 for me is Angie and Danny. I know they came in 7th.
Yeah,
I think they're okay, but that's kind of like the Chris and Mary thing. I could see the age for Angie kind of affecting it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got Angie and Danny at 8. Similar reasons you said. I think Danny's actually not a bad racer, but I think his mom's going to hold him back, and I hate to say that because I do like the fact that they are, going out and racing with mom and son. We've had those teams before.
Yep.
Kind of crazy that Danny's allergic to everything. That's kind of
Which is that's insane. How can you be
yeah.
on the right? What are you gonna do when you get food?
No kidding.
When you got to eat something, what are you gonna do?
Yep. Yep. So I got them at 8 just because I think Angie's gonna slow them down.
Okay. 7, I got Bailey and Anthony. It wouldn't shock me if they got eliminated on Thursday.
Yeah.
I think they're the team that's just kind of happy to be there. They're kind of
Yeah.
like in that way.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But they're fun. They're
Yeah.
definitely fun.
7, I got Sunny and Busy. They didn't seem like they did anything wrong at the tasks. They actually did them pretty well. But the navigation, that was a little suspect because they did lose some. First, they got to the detour pretty late, and then they got to the roadblock pretty late. So I do have some questions about their navigation, which could come into effect. So it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt. But I got them at 7 right now.
6, I got Yvonne and Melissa, which is where they finished. They kind of they're interesting.
Yeah.
To me, they're kind of a dark horse. They could be a dark horse, I think, but they could also be eliminated on Thursday too. To me, but we'll see. They're a fun team. They're like the fun female version of Bailey and Anthony. Kind of.
Yeah. Actually, 6, I got Michelle and Sean. I don't know whether to put them up in the mid tier or the high tier. I don't think they're a high tier team, but I need to see more from them.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely had a surprise. They surprised me. But I don't know if they're going to be one of those teams that can stay in this position. So I got them at 6.
Sure, I got Michelle and Sean in 5th. I'm with you. I think they could be the team that, like, we didn't really talk about them a whole lot, other than the fact that they did the road. I thought that was great, by the way. Like, Sean figured it out. He was like, "Oh, okay. Like, I'm not teaching."
Yeah.
Like, he figured it out right away. Oh, I'm not teaching when he was doing the jump.
Yeah.
Okay. Crap. All right. I'm not teaching. All right. And then he figured it out. Boom.
That task was made for them, right?
Absolutely.
They're not going to get those
way
layups every week. So
right. Yeah. But
that's why I put them at 6. But
yeah. I got them at 5. But I think they could surprise us. I think they're kind of a because they're team double dutch. Like, they go, oh well, they can just jump rope. But the fact that they're obviously in very good shape. They can run. There's no doubt about that. So they're an interesting team for me to watch. I think as the season goes on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like where they go. I don't think they're going to be an upper tier team. 5, I got Yvonne and Melissa. This is another team similar to my team where I don't know what they're going to be or what kind of team they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It could kind of go either way. I mean, obviously they have very interesting backgrounds, but I honestly don't know. I think they're definitely in an upper tier, like upper half of the race, but going forward, I don't know like how strong they're going to be. So yeah, I got them at 5 right now, but it's a very conservative 5. That could really change.
Before I got my team in Juan and Shane, I was very, very, very concerned when I did not see them for half the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did. I don't know where they went to go get I mean, I know where they went to get directions. I know that, but I mean, my God, there were flashbacks of me possibly going, they're really not going to, wow, they're not going to be there. Okay. But then they figured it out for the rope challenge, and they did really well with the Penum too. Like, they screwed up once, and then like that was it. Like, they got four wrong in the Penum, and then they fixed it right away and went okay. So I got them at 4.
Yeah, so this is where it kind of gets tough for me because I was really impressed with Juan and Shane, the way that they were able to just kind of power through and come back. That to me is a sign of a good team.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I say they have Dusty and Ryan They
Yep.
really do have Dusty and Ryan. Dusty and
They
Ryan
do.
did that quite a bit in their season.
Yep. Yep.
So like fourth place it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of fitting to where they are. I I think they could be a top 3 team. There's no question. So until I see Derek and Shalisa screw up, because Derek and Shalisa were very impressive, especially at their age, I will keep Juan and Shane here. But there are some concerns. But they are. I mean, when they get a momentum going, they're unstoppable. I think so. They had clearly the most fluctuation out of any team. So I'll put them at fourth, but I could easily see me putting them at like first or second next week, depending on how well they do.
Yeah, third I have Derek and Shalise. I'm trying to remember from our episode from last week. We didn't really talk a whole lot of. I mean, we mentioned like who they were. Like,
yeah, I think we all had them in the middle, and we were concerned about their age, but we did mention that they were pretty fit for age. So
they were very, very impressive. They were another very impressive team. To go back to the previous question from the beginning of the episode. Yeah, so I have them at third.
Okay. Third, I will put Derek and Shalisa too. Can't really put them in the top 2. But they could. I think they could get up there depending on what they're going to do next week. But so far, so good from them. They're pretty impressive. So I got them at 3.
2, I have Ricky and Cesar. I mean, they were pretty close to almost taking first.
Yes.
They were really, really close. My one concern with them, and actually with Rod and Letitia, I'm going to combine 2 things, is the navigation, because they got flustered, I think is a good word for them.
Yeah.
When they didn't have the map and didn't exactly know where to go. Now they figured it out, and they figured it out fairly quickly. And they're really, really good. Like Goldberg did it again. That die is pretty good. They're pretty good. I think they're a team that could easily make a little bit of noise in this season, I think.
Yeah, I got Ricky and Cesar at 2. Do I think they're the second best team? I don't know. Need to see more of them. However, Cesar's sneaky athletic. He's a lot more athletic than I thought he'd be. I don't know about Ricky yet. They do seem pretty competitive, so I will definitely give them that. We don't really know what Ricky's going to be like, though. Truth be told, they had a few mishaps on the wrestling, but so did a lot of other teams. So I'll keep them at second. I don't know if I think they're going to be a second place team. We'll see. But Cesar, he was from Mexico too, so he does know that area. Well, he at least knows the country. So it's going to be. I'm going to keep them at 2, but we'll see how they perform next week, and the season goes on. I don't want to peak. I don't want to get too excited over the first week. So,
as Goldberg will pause at that particular moment of the podcast when he listens to it and writes down, "I was right again." One, I have Rod and Letitia. Here's my one concern: because Rod was a former athlete and he's competitive. He's very competitive. There's no doubt about that. My one concern with him in particular is if things start to shift like they normally do in the Amazing Race, how does he handle that? Him specifically, I think Letitia will be fine, but him specifically, being that he's a former football player, the ball's not going to bounce his way all the time.
Correct.
I mean, I have them at 1. It's the first week. This is kind of how I generally do these power rankings at the beginning of the seasons, and they're subject to change every single week. That's why we do them every single week. That's my one concern with him, is that if something bad happens, or if something doesn't go the way that they thought it was going to, like for example, if a challenge takes longer than they think it was going to, like granted they got lucky. I don't know where they found that flat piece of road for the horse. Because every time I looked, it was nothing but cobblestone. I have no idea where they found that flat surface of road that was like right towards the end. But they found it and they crushed it after that. But like that's my one concern with him is like if things don't go his way, how does he handle that?
Yeah.
So
well, didn't they do the wrestling challenge though?
I thought they did the whole.
No, Ron Letitia did.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They did the wrestling. My bad.
Are you thinking of Derek and Shalisa?
I'm thinking of Derek. That's
okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Ron Letitia are one for me. They cruised through the challenge. Got to see a lot more because we'll see when it all comes down. Former athletes generally do can kind of go hit or miss. We've seen in NFL before. So it's going to be interesting. But he's definitely in shape. He's a beast. She's a beast.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting, but it's not always going to be about the brawn type challenges.
Right.
There's going to be some brain. So we'll see how they do at those, but their navigation seemed to be pretty on point. I will say that. So, and Ricky and Cesar too, to an extent, but I'll keep them at 1. I think our power rankings though are going to be shifting quite a bit this season.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. So, okay. So trying to think of I'll try to fill in here for the Goldberg question. And if there's one team in the back of, let's say, from 6 to 12 that you think could be a top 4 team, who do you think it's going to be?
6 through 12. That's a good question. I'll go your team. I'll go Sunny and Busy. I just think it's not the best start you want to have by finishing 9th.
Right.
But I think that they look to be very talented, and I think that they just kind of they got jitters and they got excited. Holy crap, we're on the Amazing Race.
Right.
I could see them. I could see them hanging around for a little bit.
Yeah, I was either going to go Sunny and Busy or Yvonne and Melissa. I think those are the two. Anthony and Bailey, I can't.
Right.
Yep. Just can't do it. And then the second half of the question is, from teams 1 to 5, who do you think could easily be a bottom tier team?
That's a good question. I could see Derek and Shalise being a bottom. I could see that. I could see Rod and Letitia. I think that it's hard to judge with the first episode.
Right.
I because we know this. We do this every week where we go, oh, look, this team looks like it's going to be the best team, and then they make a wrong turn, or a challenge takes longer than they anticipate, and they went from 1st to 9th in the span of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that. Those would probably be my 2. I'm pretty confident with where my team's at.
Sure.
But yeah, I could see Derek and Shalise, and I could see Rod and Letitia, because I just have a feeling in the back of my mind that it's because we know this too. Chances are what usually happens, especially at the beginning part of the season, is that the team that finishes first sometimes doesn't finish in first the following week. So they may still be like in the top tier, but finishing first that's the you want that trip, you want that money.
Correct.
So we'll see. How about you?
I got to go Michelle and Sean. I think the low hanging fruit here. I just think they could easily be a bottom team. I'm not super. Sure. I think they impressed me more than I thought they would be. But I think they're a bottom team. I really do. I'm not going to be fooled by their 5th place, but who knows? I mean, we won't know until we know, I guess. But that's one team I think that will not be staying at 5.
Right.
But I think the we'll see how they do the whole charter plane thing, but at least for next week we're not going to have to worry about that. Correct.
Right. Correct. That is correct.
If you want to read the preview for tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's kind of like when you and I were back in college, and we're sitting in English class, and the professor said, "Trust but verify," as we're writing our paper. Teams continue the Mega League. That's the name of the episode. Trust but verify. Teams continue the Mega League in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where they must choose between detours that get them ready for a fiesta.
So some prepping, kind of.
And I can only speak for at least my team. Thank God, by the way, that they actually wear colored shirts this year, because some of the teams, especially in the first couple weeks there, it's not necessarily easy to tell them apart right away. My team looks to be relatively okay, and has something to do with a butterfly. So I can only speak for my team from what I saw from the preview. They've got butterfly, or they have like butterfly. They've either made a butterfly. It looks like, kind of like almost like a, not quite a cape, but maybe a kite looking thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Well, hopefully next week is a little bit better than it was this week, and
I think we'll get some separation. I don't.
Yeah.
We're not at the point where like, oh, this team's going to run away with it. Clearly.
Sure. There's no clear cuts as of yet. We kind of maybe have an idea, but not totally yet. So,
right.
I mean, look at last season.
Right.
Victor, and I can't remember his partner's name, but they took first 2 weeks and then got eliminated the next week. So should be interesting. Well, that'll do it for this week in Amazing Reviews. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we will try to be back a little earlier than we were this week. Any final comments, Calbert?
Should be fun. I'm hoping. It looks like the intensity and the excitement picks up next week, so that's good. Kind of felt like this episode was a little. I don't want to say boring, but
yeah,
it was kind of bland.
Yeah, it was. The tasks didn't seem like, I don't know. They just didn't. They weren't like hard hitting kind of. Yeah. I know it's only the first episode. They're probably saving everything,
right?
But
right.
I think they should sometimes go, a little bigger because it is the first episode.
Right.
I think they'd want to start it off with a solid tone, but yeah, we really didn't get that. So hopefully tomorrow is going to be a lot better. So
yeah, should be fun. So for everybody watching the NCAA tournament, which starts on Thursday, at least for the first 3 weeks, it's not going to affect the schedule. So it's going to be 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on CBS. 90-minute episode, just like with Survivor, which starts at 8:00 Eastern, 7 Central on CBS. So, but you're not going to be able to watch, like, if you're a big CBS watcher for the shows, they're not going to be on for at least a few weeks. I know at least for the Friday episodes, for Friday shows, they're not going to be on until April 5th, because I saw a commercial for it today. So,
sure.
So there you go. So if you like watching CBS shows, you get a couple weeks off. Watch some basketball, have some fun. Watch The Amazing Race. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, we'll see you next week. And my final comment is all 3 of our teams are still in it.
That's
last.
Yes, that's a very good thing.
You made it further.
The very first thing that I said when the episode ended. Well, we all made it. Thank God.
Yeah, that's correct. And like I said, you could only go up pretty much, So, all right, that's it for Amazing Reviews. We shall see you next time. Peace.
Night, everybody.